Okay. Salika, thank you. Okay, Maharaj, we have it on the screen. I hope you can see.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskacha Nanam Chaivinarottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayed Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namani. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Desa Tarine. Manchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadhanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gora Tvishe Namaha. Okay, this chapter is Maharaj Pricket cursed by the Brahmin boy. A major event in our history. Kavat,
Kavat,
Kalir,
Kalir,
Na, Prabhavet,
Prabhavet,
Pravishto,
Pravishto,
Apiha,
Apiha,
Sarvata,
Sarvata,
Yavad,
Yavat,
Isho,
Isho,
Mahan Urvyam,
Mahan Urvyam,
Abhimanyava,
Abhimanyava,
Ekavat,
Ekarat,
Kavat Kalirna Prabhavet,
Tavat Kalina Prabhave,
Pravishto Piha Sarvata,
Pravishto Piha Sarvata,
Yavadisho Mahan Urvyam,
Yavat Isho Mahan Urvyam,
Abhimanyava Ekavat,
Abhimanyava Ekarat,
Tavat Kalirna Prabhavet,
Tavat Kalina Prabhave,
Pravishto Piha Sarvata.
Pravishto Piha Sarvata
Yavadisho Mahan Urvyam
Yavad Isho Mahanurvyam
Abhimanyava Ekavat.
Abhimanyava Ekavat.
Someone else?
Tavat Kalirana Prabhavet Pravishto Piha Sarvataha Yavad Isho Mahan Uruvyam
Yavad Isu Mahan Udyam
Abhimanayavya Ekarat
Abhimanayava Ekarat Tavat Kalina Prabhavati
Tavat Kalirana Prabhavet
Pravishto Siha Sarvata
Pravishto Piha Sarvata
Yavad Isu Mahan Udyam
Yavad
Yavatiso
Isho Mahan
Mahanurya
Uruvyam
Abhimanayava Ekarat
Abhinmaya
Abhimanayava
Ekarat
Ekarat
Davat Kalina Prabhave
Tavat Kalirana Prabhavet
Pravisto Puta Sarvata
Pravishto Piha Sarvataha
Yavatiso Mahanuryam
Yavad
Yavadisho
Isho
Mahan
Mahan
Urvyam
Uruvyam
Abhinmaya Ekarat
Abhimanyava
Abhimanayava
Ekavat.
Ekarat.
Tavat.
Tavat
So long.
So long
Kali.
Kali,
The personality of Godhead. The personality
the
of Kali.
personality of
the
Kali.
personality of Kali
Na.
Na,
Cannot.
cannot,
cannot
Prabhavet.
Prabhavet
Prabhave,
Flourish.
flourish
Pravishta.
Pravishta
Entered.
entered
entered
In.
in
Api.
Api
Even though.
even
even
though
though
Iha.
Iha
Here.
Ha,
here
here,
Sarvata.
Sarvata
Sarvata,
Everywhere.
everywhere
Yavat.
Yavad
Yavat,
As long as.
as
as
long
long
as
Isha.
Isha
Isha,
The Lord.
the
the Lord,
Lord
Mahan.
Mahan,
Mahan
Great.
great,
great
Urvyam.
Uruvyam
Powerful.
powerful
powerful,
Abhimanyava.
Abhimanyava
Abhimanyava,
Son of Abhimanyu.
the son
son
of
of
Abhimanyu,
Abhimanyu
Ekarat.
Ekarat
The one emperor.
the
the
one
one emperor.
emperor.
Strange how in Sanskrit, rat or rat, that spelling is the emperor, and in English, it means a rat, a mouse. Some of the words are similar, like
Yeah.
chintamani, money. Money means jewel in Sanskrit. As long as the great powerful son of Abhimanyu was the emperor of the world, there is no chance that the personality of Kali will flourish. Repeat it.
As long as the great powerful son of Abhimanyu remains the emperor of the world, there is no chance that the personality of Kali will flourish.
Purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As we've already
Yeah.
explained, personality of Kali had entered the jurisdiction of the earth long ago, and he was looking for an opportunity to spread his influence all over the world. But he could not do so satisfactorily due to the presence of Maharaj Pricket. That is the way of good government. The disturbing elements, like the personality of Kali, will always try to expand their nefarious activities, but it's the duty of the able state to check them by all means. Although Maharaj Parikshit allotted places for the personality of Kali, at the same time he gave no chance for the citizens to be swayed by the personality of Kali. Om Agana Timirandasya Ganagana Shalakaya Chaksuramilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. So, I was thinking the other day, people are blaming somebody for our trouble. And really all our trouble is Kali, the influence of Kali. And because we're succumbing to the influence of Kali and quarreling and complaining and drinking and, doing all kinds of sinful activities. So because of that, we're suffering, the world is suffering, because Kali, there's no good government to control Kali. So you might think, well, why didn't Parikshit just kill Kali? He had the chance, he had the right, he was the king, he should have just killed him. I'm sure people might think like that. And let's blame Parikshit for all our troubles, right? But I hesitate because I've been used to have always a translator. But it's the will of the Lord, and just like the winter season is coming now in the Northern Hemisphere. Somewhere else, the summer season is coming in the Southern Hemisphere. And I don't know, in Africa is kind of in the middle, and you're getting the maybe rainy season or something. So, but seasons come and go, and that's it's the Lord's will. So this is a season of Kali. But one can transcend it and avoid the influence of Kali by chanting the holy name of the Lord, by taking shelter of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. So we're encouraging everyone to do that. Now today is a big day on our Vaishnav calendar. One thing is Gopastami. I can talk about that a little later. That's the day that Krishna got the responsibility to take care of the cows and bulls, not just the calves. Previously, he was just taking care of calves. Even though he was only 6 years old, it's quite young for that job. But Krishna and Balaram, they grew up very fast and they were very mature very early. So they were able to take that job. It's also the disappearance day of Gadadhar Das. Now that's not the same Gadadhar that we have in the Panchatattva. That's Gadadhar Pandit. This is Gadadhar Das. So he was an intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya, or Lord Nityananda. He was both, actually. He was intimate associate of both Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. And he was in Krishna Lila Gopi. So I'm going to read something, but the main thing about him as a follower of Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda, he was sent with Lord Nityananda when Nityananda was sent from Puri to preach in Bengal, then Lord Chaitanya sent Gadadhar with him and a few others also. So following, he's considered to be the topmost because he got the Muslim Qazis to chant the holy name of Hari.
Hello, good afternoon.
So
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you today?
Oh, bless God. Sorry, I missed your call. I was in a meeting.
Oh, okay, no problem. I
Sorry, Maharaj.
it's okay. So he's said to be the luster of the body of Radharani. Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani, but he's the effulgence of Radharani. Radha Baba Duty Suvalita, characterized by the emotions and bodily luster of Radharani. In the Gaudiyapina, he's an expansion of the potency of Radharani. As a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, he was an associate of Krishna in conjugal love. And as a devotee of Lord Nityananda, he's considered to be one of the friends of Krishna in pure devotional service, one of the 12 Gopalas, the intimate associates of Lord Balaram. But he wasn't exactly a coward boy. He was very difficult to understand. So he preached the Sankirtan movement by requesting everyone to chant the Maha Mantra. This simple preaching method, this is exactly quote I'm reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I want everybody to take note of this, memorize it. I'm going to put it on the board if you give me the break.
Salika Prabhu.
Yeah, just a minute. I'm going to finish that up. This simple preaching method of Gadadhar Das can be followed by anyone and everyone in any position of society. One must simply be sincere and a serious servant of Nityananda. You give me a screen share. Huh? Give me the screen
Yes,
share.
Maharaj. I'm going to do that.
So I don't have any lighting. I'm up out on the outside on the roof kind of, and there's only one light bulb, so you can't see me very good. The host will stop other screen sharing. Okay. Okay, can you see it?
Let's go, Maharaj.
He
Yes, Maharaj,
preached
I
the
can see.
Sankirtan movement by requesting everyone to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That's very easy to do. I know some devotees who just do that. One of my godbrothers, he makes up mantra cards and he goes every day a lot. And he's an old man and he's got diseases and he just asks people, can you say this? Can you say Hare Krishna? And most people say it and become very happy. And often they take books and give donations. So this simple preaching method of Srila Gadadhar Das can be followed by anyone and everyone in any position of society. One must simply be a sincere and serious servant of Nityananda Prabhu and preach this cult door to door. So the story, I mean, there must be many stories, but of his different leelas. He was going, and there was one Muslim Qazi, and he would ask him every day, chant Hare Krishna, and the Qazi would get out of here, leave me alone, you know, Allah, Allah, Allah. And then one day, Qazi was frustrated, and he just said, just go away, I'll chant Krishna tomorrow. I'll say Hare Krishna tomorrow. Just leave me alone. So when Gadadhar heard that, he became so ecstatic. He was dancing and jumping and laughing and falling on the ground. And the Qazi was bewildered. He said, why are you so happy? I said, I told you I'd chant tomorrow, you know, meaning he wasn't going to chant tomorrow. But he said, no, why tomorrow? You already chanted today. You're already saying Hare Krishna. So this is how we should be. Even if people blaspheme, we should be happy. So he said when Gadadhar was, that's the story. Then Gadadhar is the united form of Chandrakanti, the effulgence of Radharani, and Purnananda, who was Lord Balaram's girlfriend. He was one of the associates of Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. Once when he was returning to Bengal from Jagannath Puri with Nityananda Prabhu, he forgot himself and began talking very loudly, like he was a girl of Brajabhumi selling yogurt. And Srila Nityananda Prabhu noted this. Another time, while absorbed in the ecstasy of the gopis, he carried a jug filled with Ganges water on his head, like he was selling milk. When Lord Nityananda Chaitanya appeared in the house of Raghava Pandit while going to Vrindavan, Gadadhar Das went to see him, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so glad that he put his foot on his head. When Gadadhar Das was present at Adiyadaha, he established a Bal Gopal Murti for worship there. Sri Madhava Ghosh performed a drama known as Dana Kanda with the help of Nityananda and Gadadhar. And this is explained in the Bhagavad. So that's such a personality, Gadadhar Das. Dhananjay Pandit was another great associate of Lord Chaitanya, but there's not much about him. This day that Krishna became a cowherd boy, you know, at first Nanda and Yashoda, they thought he's too young, but he was telling everyone, I want to take care of cows. I want to take the cows and the bulls, it would be. And so finally they agreed. And so it was Krishna got grown up clothes and there was a big festival in Vrindavan celebrating that Krishna had grown up. It's like a big promotion. So devotees have big festivals and worship cows. It's Gopastami also. We don't exactly worship cows, but we offer things to them because they're very dear to Krishna. It's very hard for us in Kali Yuga when we only see cows, mostly the dead body of cows and the skin, and people are eating them. We don't see happy cows very much. They're, you know, they're getting treated very lovingly. There are some in India, there's many places, but most of the world, we don't see that very much. But the cow is very especially dear to Krishna because the milk of the cow is so valuable food. But many people, like in I saw in Ghana, devotees don't drink milk, but they're always eating paneer. But the paneer is not so healthy. Milk is a really healthy way to take it. Paneer should be a little bit sometimes. But anyway, so Krishna started going out. Mother Yasoda said, Balaram, you have to walk in front of Krishna, and Sridham and Subal, you have to walk next to Krishna, and somebody else has to walk behind Krishna and protect him, make sure nothing goes wrong. She was worried. But Krishna, of course, Krishna doesn't need any protection. Krishna was actually protecting everybody. So we can't really, understand how much Krishna loved cows. But he had 900,000 cows, and they all had names, and they're all divided into different groups by color. And he could call all of them. And he didn't have to work at herding cows. Even ordinary cow herd people, not so much. The cows just follow along. But in the case of Krishna, the cows just were so happy to be with Krishna, and all the cows would just follow Krishna wherever he went. So nobody had to worry about the cows. So we should, try to think of that too. And I see, we have cows, but we don't take care of them like Krishna did. The cow's like a pet. Like we see these rich people nowadays, they have dogs and they love that dog, and they sleep with the dog, and they hug the dog, and they feed the dog special food. That's the way it's supposed to be with the cows. Not that you just keep them for the tourists or something, but they're pets, they're part of the family. And we get milk. And the cows also, their cow dung, of course, is so valuable for fertilizer. In Ghana, that Mr. Lakani is his name, he was begging us for cow dung because he had many flower bushes, and he said they love that cow dung. It makes things grow like much better than any other kind of fertilizer, and it's organic and healthy. But now they're selling petrochemicals and polluting everything, ruining the soil. The bull is supposed to be working, pulling the plow. The bull and cow, they're a team, of course, the father and mother. And the bull is supposed to be plowing the field and pulling your goods on a cart. But now we have tractors. We'd rather have, we want tractors, but then we have to buy fuel for the tractor, and the tractors require a lot of repair. You have to use them a lot, but nobody's working the bullock. Even in India, we don't see it very much anymore. So this is something we have to work towards, taking care of cows. I mean, not just have a few cows to show the Indians and get donations. We want to love those cows and get their milk and their dung, and their urine makes great medicine. Ganachukshu's making big business coming to Mayapur and getting cow urine, distilled cow urine, and selling it. And people are finding it to be very effective medicine. There's more and more things about the cow that are being learned every day, and the value. Mystical animals. So one day while Gadadhar, he acted loudly, and he was talking like a gopi who was selling yogurt. Nityananda liked that. One time he carried a jug of Ganga water on his head like he was selling milk. And when Lord Chaitanya met him at the house of Raghava Pandit, Lord Chaitanya put his foot on his head. He was so happy to see Gadadhar Das. So that's not an ordinary person. If you want to visit his samadhi, it's in a place called Indi Yadaha. And there's also deities there of Gauratai and Radha Krishna. So that's Gadadhar. Then, so the main great personality today's disappearance is Srinivas Acharya. Srinivas was very, very special, one of the most important personalities in our history. He came in the next generation after the 6 Goswamis, along with Narottam Das and Shamananda. They actually started the preaching of Lord Chaitanya's mission and the teachings of the Goswamis. And he did it in a very, very big way, especially by preaching to one king. And that king became a great devotee and built so many temples and ordered that everyone in his kingdom would have to chant the holy name and follow regulated principles. And that part of Bengal is still full of temples, or maybe it's Orissa. So many temples there. So he was predicted. His father was present at the time of Lord Chaitanya's sannyas. And it was such an emotional event for everybody. And no one wanted to see Lord Chaitanya's hair getting cut. The barber didn't want to do it. Everybody was crying. And this father, he was older man, and he was just beating his head on the ground and crying, Chaitanya, 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 Chaitanya. And after that, all he did was chant Chaitanya and talk about Lord Chaitanya. And people named him Chaitanya Das. They gave him a new name. So while he was traveling home, which was not so near, Lord Chaitanya appeared to him and said, you will have a son and you will name him Srinivas. He was a little surprised because he was quite old and didn't expect to have any more children. But sure enough, his wife became pregnant and the child was so beautiful, so outstanding, with big lotus eyes and a very nice nose and long arms. And even as a baby, everybody could see that this was a special personality. And he was loved by everyone in the village. He was the smartest, the most beautiful. He learned everything, every kind of science, like really quickly. And then he took up studying with the great associate of Lord Chaitanya, Narhari Sakar, and he studied spiritual science. And he just was all he cared about. He had no interest except Lord Chaitanya. Even as a baby, his mother just held him and sang songs about Lord Chaitanya in his ear. And his father, his association with his father only talked about Lord Chaitanya. So he was mad after Lord Chaitanya, but he was never able to meet him. When he finally tried to go to Navadvip, Lord Chaitanya had already left. And Nityananda, he missed both of them. But he did another time go to Navadvip and even met Vishnu Priya, the wife of Lord Chaitanya, and her servants. And he met many of Lord Chaitanya's intimate associates that were still in Navadvip. Later, he went to Puri. He was meant to study SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM with Gadadhar. This is all, he was still teenage. And Gadadhar said, I want to teach you Bhagavatam, but I don't have a book. We didn't have printing press then. And Gadadhar's book, he knew it by heart, but he couldn't read the book because when he read the Bhagavatam, he would cry such huge amounts of tears. They ruined the book. Nobody could see what was written on it. So by the time they arranged to get another Bhagavatam from Navadvip or something, and Srinivas went to get it, on the way back, he found out that Gadadhar had left his body. And then he was really distressed and, more and more distressed. And So after many, many different delays, and he even went to Kardaha, where Lord Nityananda had lived, and he met Janavadevi, and he met the son, Virabhadra, and she said, "You hurry up and go to Vrindavan," because Lord Chaitanya had already told Rupa and Sanatan that Srinivas was coming and that they should take care of him. So after many, many delays, for whatever reason, he finally got to Vrindavan. But on the way, he found out that Sanatan Goswami had left. And then a little bit later, 3 days before he got to Vrindavan, he heard that Rupa Goswami had left. So at that time, again, he just felt like dying. He couldn't see any reason to live. He'd failed to meet Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. He couldn't study with Gadadhar, and then he missed Rupa and Sanatan. But they came to him. Lord Chaitanya had come to him earlier, and Gaur Nitai together told him go to Vrindavan. And then Rupa and Sanatan came and said, "You go to Vrindavan, take shelter of Jiva and Gopal Bhatta Goswami." So that, and you were meant to introduce some kind of new kirtan or something. So and they were all waiting for him. Narottam was waiting. Everybody had been waiting for Srinivas for a long time. But he just took him a long time to get to Vrindavan. There was no fast train and no airplanes, only walking. We think it's troublesome to take the 24-hour train, from Calcutta to Mathura, but they all had to walk, only walking, and there was no roads, no, just jungles and then villages, and sometimes no food, sometimes nice facilities. So anyway, they gave him shelter, they loved him, they took him all around. And then he was initiated by Gopal Bhatta, that's the order of Lord Chaitanya. And then he studied with Jiva because he was so intellectual. And then Janava Mata ordered to send all the books of the Goswamis with Narottam and Srinivas and Shamananda to go preaching in the east of India, Bengal and Orissa. So they they didn't want to leave Vrindavan. They loved Vrindavan. Everybody loved them, but they took the order and they made big arrangements, big festival when they were leaving. They had the books locked in a big case. They had many security guards, bullock cart pulling the books. But one night, in the middle of someplace, everyone fell asleep mysteriously, and thieves took the books. So when they woke up, it was too much of a shock, all the books of the Goswami missing. But Srinivas said, "Don't worry, you go ahead, I'll find the books." So he found out that in this area, the king had a gang of thieves that would rob people. So he suspected, and he went there, he met the king. He preached so wonderfully Bhagavatam that the king made him the guru of the kingdom and kept him in his kingdom for some time. And the king and his wife, his son, they got initiated. And like I said, that king, he made so many temples. Finally, everything was settled, and Srinivas went back to his hometown. And there he met again this Narhari Sakar. His mother was very old. His father had died, so he was delayed going to Puri because he was taking care of his mother and his sister or something. And then this Narhari told him, "Your mother is very old and she'd like to see you get married." So he got married. He had 2 sons and 3 daughters. And all those daughters, and they had many disciples. And I think his wife also. In fact, there's a place called Srivas Kunj, and I was just there in Vrindavan. And there's a samadhi of Srinivas Acharya and his disciple Ramachandra Kaviraj and his daughter Himalata Thakurani. All is equal in one place. The three samadhis are put with equal monuments. So that shows something that we should take to note. And anyway, he preached, and he's just such a wonderful preacher. He was getting so many disciples, people just surrendering like as soon as they met him practically. And then he and Narottam somehow got back together by post, and they organized this Gaur Purnima, the first Gaur Purnima festival. And it ended up being like practically every Vaishnav in Bengal attended that. And that was where Narottam introduced his special kirtan and installed 5 new deities. And he was instructed by Janavi Devi the specific names of the deities. There was 1 Gauranga and 4 Radha Krishna. And Srinivas did all the pujas, all the yagyas and everything while the kirtan was going on. The kirtan became so ecstatic that even the whole Panchatattva and all their other associates came and joined the kirtan. And it went on all night. Everybody was in ecstasy. So he's especially remembered for the song we have, the Sad Goswami Astakam, which I'm sure you've all heard many times. We like to sing it, and Prabhupada recorded it many times. One time was in the very, very early days, and you'll hear some kind of musical instrument that one musician had just happened to drop by right when Prabhupada was singing that song. So he joined in with his exotic Indian instrument. So that's the beautiful prayers to glorify the activities of the exalted nature of the 6 Goswamis. So we have the great fortune. We're in the line of these people. Can't imagine such great personalities. Their birth is predicted by Lord Chaitanya, and he told everybody in Vrindavan years before, when Srinivas was a young boy, that Srinivas will be coming to Vrindavan, and you greet him and take care of him nicely. He'd also warned about Narottam, and Narottam he and Srinivas were almost equal, the way they looked and everything, and their intelligence and their spiritual power. And Narottam was waiting and waiting for him to come to Vrindavan. Finally came, visited. They took him around to all the temples, and he met all the devotees there. So we should follow. In this way, we can keep Kali Yuga back. Parikshit kept him back in a different way. We'd never be able to do it that way. There was nowhere in his kingdom where there was the 4 regulative principles not being followed. So Kali couldn't enter. He'd only gave him permission to be where gold was, but people were hoarding gold, so he had a place. And then gradually, because of the gold, people were becoming degraded. So there was some influence. But then after Parikshit left by the will of the Lord, then the Kali Yuga came on full steam, and he's still around. He doesn't have to sleep. He doesn't have to grow old and die. He's just busy trying to get people to drink and smoke and have especially illicit sex, and gambling, because wherever there's gambling, there's going to be all the other sinful activities also. I know in America, when people gamble, like in the casino, if they win, they celebrate by getting intoxication and going out to the party with the women and intoxication. If they lose, they get intoxicated so they can forget their misery, they think. So, and the gambling leads to a lot of worse things also, a lot of violence, a lot of people losing all their money. So Kali is promoting all these things with great enthusiasm now and trying to help the Kali Yuga to advance. But he can be held back by the chanting of the holy name. Kalir dosha nade rajan asti eka mahad gunan kirtanadeva Krishna nasya mukta sangha paramvijay. That Kali Yuga is just terrible time, full of fault. Kalir dosha nide, the ocean of fault. But one very great quality, mahad guna, is that simply by kirtan of the holy name, the kirtan of Krishna, you can get the greatest liberation. And Kali will have to run away. So Kali wants to stop the Sankirtan movement, so he tries in so many different ways to bewilder devotees. To some places it's the government, some places it's the Christians, some places the Muslims, sometimes it's other Hindus. They're always trying to distract devotees. Kali's always trying to create quarreling amongst the devotees, because when we're busy quarreling, we don't preach. So then Kali, when the devotees are quarreling, and then Kali is very happy. He joins the kirtan to make sure to keep everybody in a fault finding mood. He hangs around the temple looking like a devotee, criticizing everyone, griping and complaining about this and that, and this way bewilders the preaching. And right now, I hope other devotees take it up. In Ghana Chakshus Prabhu, it is started, and a few devotees are picking it up. 4 months book distribution marathon up to Gaur Purnima, I guess. And I hope a shipment of books arrived. These were donated specifically for Ghana, but they arrived in Lagos. So the Lagos devotees, unless you make a deal with Ghana, don't take any of them, because they were specifically given to Ghana from devotees in Doha. But if you want to really, if the Nigerian devotees will get into it, you'll get many books also. I heard you already have a lot of books there in Lagos and nobody's distributing them. This is very distressing. I've seen that also. I look in the room and the books are just scattered all over. The boxes are all here and there. Nothing's kept properly. So it doesn't show that much understanding of our mission. Instead of complaining and accusing different devotees of different, nonsense activities and trying to kick them out and change this and that, get out and distribute books. Ask everyone to chant the holy name. That's what's the only thing missing in this day and age is there's not enough Krishna consciousness. So please, we can be agents of Maharaj Pariksit now by knocking on every door or knocking on everyone's heart, going out on the street. Ask everyone to chant the holy name. Can you say Hare Krishna? Mahavishnu Swami, he goes all over the world. Somehow the leader of that party, he's afraid of malaria. He doesn't want to go to Africa. He goes everywhere else. It doesn't make sense, but and he has a little card with the Maha Mantra, and he just goes up to everybody. Can you say Hare Krishna? And they say it. can you read the whole thing? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And people become really happy. And all the devotees beat their drums and dance and oh, you're expert. And there's quite a few devotees that do that. You just print up some cards with the Maha Mantra, and everyone you meet, just say, even if you don't meet them, just say, excuse me, can you say this? Can you say Hare Krishna? Most people will say it. Then they get so much benefit. So please join the Sankirtan movement. Don't just live in the temple or just live at home and chant sometimes. Get out and spread the holy name. Get the whole world chanting. All right? So Prickett had held back Kali, but after he left by Krishna's will, Kali jumped out. And then Lord Buddha had to come just to stop the rampant animal slaughter. In the name of the Vedas, they were slaughtering animals, saying, because those Jagyas are described, the Brahmanas, or the corrupt Kali Yuga Brahmanas, are saying that this is a Vedic injunction, you have to kill these animals. All right, so if you have a few questions or you want to comment, I'll accept it for a little while.
Hare Krishna, thank
Like
you.
you really get around. You're in a different part of the world every day. Right? Like Narada Muni. Who wanted to say something?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for the class, and thank you for the encouragement and the push to try to spread.
Don't say
Krishna
try. Okay? Try
Okay.
is non-committal. We have to
Okay.
say, either say I will or I won't, but don't say I will try. That means I tried, but it didn't work, you know. So, I mean,
Okay. Yes, Maharaj. Personally, I do that. I do that when I come across people, especially when I'm trying to say something about God, and then they will ask me my religion, that whether I'm a Christian, what church do I attend? I tell them no, my church is Hare Krishna, and I try to encourage them to repeat. But sometimes I realize that some just do not want to pronounce the name, but others pronounce. And others also actually know devotees. And they say, oh, I never thought you are one of them. I don't see them on the streets anymore. I used to see them at the airport. So that is what I do. But I will take away the try. I will do more. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
yeah, because a lot of people, everywhere we go, that, you know, they say, well, where have you been? Because in the 70s, and the same thing in Nigeria, and, you know, there were devotees out chanting all day, all the time, right?
Yeah.
But in Nigeria it was later, not in the 70s, in the 80s, I guess. But then gradually, for whatever reason, you know, we aren't out there so much. Even though we have many more devotees, like in America now with all these Indians, but we're not visible. So people are happy to see devotees. Say, where have you been, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There was one lady, when she got to know that I belonged to Hare Krishna, I was surprised. It says, oh, I know you people. You do wedding together. So there were other ladies around asking me, is that what you do? I say, yes. So But she was asking, it says, I used to see you at the airport. I don't see you anymore. So I said, well, we are still around, but somebody like me, if you did not talk to me, you wouldn't know I'm one of the Hare Krishnas. So we are still there. But like you're saying, we need to go out more like we used to. Anadi Nidanam Prabhu, please unmute.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay. Please accept my humble obeisances to your lotus. Okay, yeah, Maharaj, thank you. Maharaj, I would like to know, this was we have a youth forum here in Chichirada Govinda Temple. So this was a question raised by one of the newly joined. So the question is American lottery also a form of gambling? Because it's very, very rampant in our part of the world. So he would like to know whether an American lottery also a form of gambling. So we would like to know so that how we'll be able to advise him on that. Hare Krishna.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a type of gambling. How did it go? You know, they sell tickets, right? No, you're talking about the lottery?
Now he's talking about the lottery to have a visa to come to US.
Whatever it is, it's gambling. You give your money, right?
Yes, Maharaj,
Yes.
you pay.
And then, it must probably not even gambling. It's probably just outright cheating. But, they get a few people to say, I got the visa, and then you think you can win. Some people probably keep doing it over and over again until they're bankrupt. Anyway, it's gambling, that's for sure.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj. Anyone else with any question, comment, realizations? Maharaj was asking. Ras Vilas Prabhu, please unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please, I would love to know that based on the scripture we read today, as long as King Parashit remains in the earth or on the planet, Caligula cannot advance. We have seen devotees doing Haranam on the street, going for Sankirtan, book distribution, they have been chanting all this while. Yes, so we see a lot of things that have been predicted going on. I mean, you can see everything deteriorating. The way people are intoxicating themselves, not taking part in all the four regulative principles. But devotees are chanting in the world. So what is actually going wrong? Is it because Parashit is no more on the planet, or devotees are committing offenses, or we are not taking our chanting seriously? Hare Krishna. Mary, could you please throw more light on that?
You talked pretty fast, and I kind of couldn't follow what you're saying exactly.
All right, sorry,
Okay.
Maharaj.
His question was that.
So sorry about that. So what I was asking is,
okay,
based on the scripture we read today, that as long as King Parashit remains on the planet, Kali Yuga cannot advance. Yes, so we see devotees chanting on the streets. We go on Harinam, we do food distribution, they are taking part in austerity, let's say like this starting. Yes, so we see people advancing themselves in intoxication, gambling, and all that stuff. Is it that devotees are not chanting well? Is it because we are committing offenses, or we are not taking the holy name seriously? Could you please throw more light on that?
Well, wherever devotees are chanting, the Kali's not there, but we're certainly most of the world, nobody's chanting any name of God. So in the temple, where Of course, see, Kali tries to sneak, Maya tries to get in and get people to quarrel so that we don't chant, so that Kali can get in better. All right? So, yeah. So all those things, we should think, we're not chanting enough. Prabhupada said this, when we look at how bad the world is and how crazy everything is, we should think we're not chanting enough. That's the problem. Don't blame, Mr. Putin or Mr. Biden or Mr. Trump or whoever else, we're thinking we could blame. Because it's not their fault. It's just the Kali Yuga.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. Anyone else with any question to ask? So Maharaj, I had asked this question before. Again, it's Krishna's plan, but it would have been so nice if Maharaj Parikshit had killed Kali. When he got hold of Kali, it would have been so easier for us in this age if Kali had been killed by Maharaj Parikshit, because giving him some small space, and during his time, he was so careful that he could not extend his influence. But now that he's gone, we are suffering, like you rightly said in the beginning of your scripture, that we don't have to blame anybody, it's Kali, but he chose not to kill him and just give him some small place to squat. And now he spread his tentacles everywhere. Even after
the Lord, but it's also, this is the beginning of the golden age of Lord Chaitanya, which is driving Kali back. There's so many places now where people are following all the regulated principles and they're having kirtan, and Kali is not there. He's waiting at the door, though, waiting for a chance to come in. If you leave the door unlocked at night and you space out, you can come in. If we don't if we don't chant our rounds, if we don't follow the principles, then we're just like leaving the door open for Kali. So be careful. Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
So it's a little late for me.
Maharaj, you are in India, right? So it's late.
Yeah.
It's late your time.
It's 8:30, but thank you for making it earlier. Otherwise, it would have started at 8:30. That's pretty heavy, difficult.
I have some questions in the chat. Please, Hare Krishna.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Hare Krishna. Okay, Maharaj, Mitravinda Devi is asking, stocks 401k gambling also. It appears that some levels of gambling are deemed okay. Please clarify.
Well, it depends on who's doing it. There's a science to the stock market, and people that know that science, it's not gambling for them. Although sometimes they lose, just like anything. Sometimes you fail, but in the long run they'll win because they know how it works. But for people that don't know anything about it, then it can be gambling, because somebody just, here's a business, this is the hottest thing going, give your money here, you're going to get back, well, like one of your devotees was in Mayapur saying that he's got gold there in Ghana, and you're going to get 10 times your money back in a few months, and and people believed him and gave all their money. I think he believed it also, but it didn't happen.
Mm,
But if you really know what you're doing, it's not gambling.
yeah.
But in general, it is, because most people don't know the science and just throwing their money.
But
And then-
how does 401k become gambling?
Huh?
401k, how does that become a gambling?
I don't know. I don't think it is. What is 401k?
When 401k is like when you work, sometimes your employer may set aside a little bit of money for you.
Yeah, I
for-
don't know. That's not,
I-
I
I
shouldn't
don't
be.
think so. Yeah. Okay.
That's
All right.
saving.
Yeah.
Yes, many people, we want everyone to chant the name of God. If you chant Jesus, you want to chant Allah, Buddha, please chant, but do it.
Mm,
Don't just say, so if you have no name of God that you like, then chant Hare Krishna. But if you say, no, I want to chant Jesus, okay, but chant it,
yeah.
pray, chant Allah, chant, Jehovah or whatever name you have, but that we want everyone to chant, and that's also the name of God. The Maha Mantra Hare Krishna is a more potent personal name of God. And Jayapataka Maharaj told about, he has a disciple in South America, and she was chanting some Jesus thing kind of in the same melody. And then she thought, I might as well chant Hare Krishna. And she's a nun, and she lives in the monastery, but she chants Hare Krishna. I have one disciple there in Enugu also. She's a nun. She lives and she chants Hare Krishna, but she must chant her Jesus prayers and everything also. But any name of God, we want everyone to chant.
Maharaj, if I may ask you a question from Srila Prabhupada's pulpit. And Srila Prabhupada's pulpits are always so beautiful. And even though they're beautiful, oftentimes they are quite difficult to apply, in the sense that, like in this purport, Srila Prabhupada was saying here, where is it? The disturbing elements like the personality of Kali will always try to extend their nefarious activities, but it is the duty of the able states to check them by all means. I just received a small clip of one politician in Nigeria who was talking about the trickish way politicians in Nigeria use to import things from everywhere into Nigeria, even up to like importing toothpicks. And he was saying toothpicks alone, they spend like $400 million a year in importing simple things like toothpicks. But those who want to fight against it, they will lose their job. So this is the difficulty. Those who want to do the right thing face so much difficulties that you either lose your job or you even lose your life. And so people stop fighting for the right cause. So what do we do? Especially when we do not have.
That's why we need to spread the holy name and uplift the atmosphere of the planet. That's we can't fight the demons. They're too powerful.
Okay.
Too many of them.
Yes.
But Krishna can defeat them. So we can spread the holy name. And that's what we have to do. That's how the Lord Chaitanya's movement is spreading. So some people are getting, all of you are been rescued. You're not victimized so much anymore. by all the advertising for intoxication and all the gambling ad. When we were in Lagos, in Harinam, everywhere I looked was an ad for gambling, right?
Mm.
Make your bet by phone, collect your money here, like you win automatically, really bogus things, and just cheating people like anything. So that's our project. We can't, if we just try to fight the corrupt governments and these big, powerful millionaire people that are, toothpicks, at least toothpicks are Vedic, you should use a toothpick after you eat. Vaishnavas use toothpick. Matches too, they import matches, right?
We import everything, Maharaj. We import everything. We go to school, we go to college, we go to university, we study big science. We can't produce anything. That's the problem. Krishna.
Well, you got to import Bhagavad Gita and distribute it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's what we have to do. All right.
Okay, thank you. But you see, we even want to import Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. Devotees, please. Okay,
Everybody turn on your microphone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama,
Auranga.
Oh, Ranga. Hare Bol.
Haribo.
Dasha
Kripa Sindhya Ivacha. Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha.
Holiness Kavicandra Swami Guru Maharaj ki.